This is an official announcement from the Podcast Tonight Awards. Your favourite show that you're listening to right now has been officially nominated for a Podcast Tonight Award. But the power is in your hands. Amongst other categories, this show is in the running for the prestigious Listener's Choice Award, and they need your vote to win. You can show your support and help them get the recognition they deserve. The link to vote is in their show notes and bio. Go now and make your voice heard. This has been a message from Podcast Tonight, celebrating the best in audio.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Hartford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch affairs today.
It's probably the least sexy part of the work. It's okay. No. The truth is,
Today's guest is Aurora Winter, and believe me, you're going to want to lean in for this one. She's an award-winning, best-selling author, a former TV producer, a media coach, a ghostwriter, and a seasoned entrepreneur who knows how to turn ideas into real impact. Aurora blends her filmmaking background with neuroscience to help people share their stories in a way that actually moves the needle. So if you've ever thought about writing a book, building your brand, or creating new streams of income that come from your own message, this episode is definitely for you. How you doing? I am saying it right? Aurora?
Aurora, you got it right, Rich. Yeah, I am doing just great, and I'm looking forward to helping the listeners and watchers turn their words into wealth.
One thing I should have never done, I don't know if you ever heard the comedian Dale Jones.
No, not
all right. If you ever get a chance, watch him. But he talks about how he grew up in a rural God, look at this. I am getting tongue tied. Area, and he kept saying, he said, I don't understand. I can't even say rural. And he's like, it sounds like a dog when I do.
That's a hard word to say.
It is, and then when I should have never watched that before I introduced you. It's like
a tongue twister for sure.
All right, I want to start back before we get into the story.
But you know what you just did?
I do
a little story about that, because what you just did is charming, and I think most people try to always be perfect. And instead, what you did is you leaned into, I said it wrong. And then you talked about it a little bit. So I always think it's important. Like if you flub a line, or if you get distracted because the FedEx guy comes to the door, instead of ignoring it, point it out, because it makes you human. And we human beings love to connect with other human beings. It's a little mini story. Mm-hmm. People want expertise, but they want it blended with humanity. So what you just did was charming. It was authentic, and I felt more connected to you, and I'm sure the listeners did too.
Well, thank you. Now you got me turning red. All right. Before we get into the storytelling and everything, I always like to have our listeners. I know you've been on probably thousands of podcasts, but each one's different. But I think it's always important for the guest to know who the listener is. So, and I always like to ask this question. Back in high school, because nowadays you're supposed to have a career path. But back
that's a flawed idea if ever I heard one.
Back in high school, what was it that you wanted to do when you got out of school?
I always wanted to be a writer from the age of 9.
Really?
I love books. I'm enchanted by books. I remember when I was 9 years old, going to the school library and taking down the last book in the Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. Uh-huh. The last book is called The Last Battle. And when my little 9-year-old hands touched the spine, I felt such a chill in my body, because I felt like anticipatory grief, because it was the last book in this amazing series, but also anticipatory joy because I got to read one more book in the series. And in that moment, when my fingers touched the spine, I realized that authors are wizards with just ink with just ink on white pieces of paper, we create portals that open up minds, open up worlds, or make even imaginary places feel real. And in that moment, I decided I would do whatever I could to become a great writer like C.S. Lewis. Decades later, I'm still working on it.
Wait, did you write for the school newspaper or anything?
I wrote for the school newspaper. Yes, I did. In fact, I still remember one of the, perhaps your daughter who's a teacher would connect with this. I was vice president of the student council, kind of athletic, sort of smart. So I did well in school. And there was a boy in one of my classes that I had just a passing acquaintance with, didn't really know him very well, but he committed suicide.
Oh, God.
And I was devastated because the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Like, what if, I had made more of an effort to be friends with him? What was he struggling with? I didn't know, but I hadn't asked. I hadn't made a point of seeking him out. He didn't actually even seem depressed. It wasn't like wearing it on his sleeve.
Right.
But I wrote an article for the school newspaper about that. And, that incident and others like it make me really realize we have the power to impact other people far beyond what we know.
Yeah.
And that it is important, to give a smile. When you're driving your car, somebody's walking across looking, distracted, but they look up at you, smile at them. You never know. That might mean the difference between that person taking their life that day or not. So I do my best to show up in a way that will make a difference. And I think we all have more power to make a difference than we know.
I agree with you 110%. And that's something I've always told my kids. It's when you see somebody, always smile.
Yeah.
Or say hello, even if you don't know them. And I do that all the time. If I'm grocery shopping, store, wherever, it doesn't matter. I'll never forget my wife and I, we went somewhere like hours away and we were hiking. I saw this guy on the trail and I just started talking to him. And my wife never understood that. She don't understand. And my daughter can't understand either. Now my son will do it. But they're like, why do you just talk to total strangers? It's like, why not?
It can make a difference.
Yeah.
Plus, I also like to play a game with people when they're at my events. And the game is for everybody to circulate and just play the game in your mind. Like, what if this person actually holds a secret that would change my life? And it's about, you have to be like a little sleuth or a discovery person or a gold digger to pull out what is the gold that they're holding. They don't know it's the secret for you,
right?
But you have to find it. And if you play that game, it's kind of true. If you're up to something, if you want to, lighten people with a smile, or if you want to change the world, usually it's through other people. They're commonly known the 6 degrees of separation. We're only 6 steps at most away from people who could make a difference. And when we're up to something and we let people know what we'd like to do, they can say, hey, well, I know that person, or I know a person who might know that person, or whatever the case may be. So I suggest people play that game.
I like that idea. I'm going to have to try that.
All right. You try it, Rich.
I'll try that the next time. Yeah. All right. So your journey, your professional journey, actually started in a place of deep loss, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. That's right.
But you turned it because you turned it into purpose, right?
This is a good thing. This is a very smart thing to do, is to turn it into purpose. So I like to teach people how to create their $1 million message. But what I want to say is everybody has more than one story. So I'll tell you one of my stories. So I fell in love at college.
Okay.
My husband-to-be and I were so madly in love that we're like, we quit our jobs, the first jobs that we got out of college, and we had to start a business. So we started a business mostly so we could be together. And we're like, we had no experience, no money, no credentials, but we're very optimistic. So we started a business. We thought for sure this business was going to be a success. But that was not so successful. We ended up eating rice and beans. What we started was a business that you could start with basically no money. We were managing other people's boats. So people own boats. They don't use them that much. So we thought we would advertise and manage them and rent the boats out while the people aren't using them. And that would create revenue for the boat owner. And we would take a little percentage of that. Anyway, so that was not as good of an idea as we thought it was. So then we're like, we're not, the credit card bill is mounting. What are we going to do? So we thought, we know the problem is our location. We're on Vancouver Island. We're at a beautiful resort. It's got a nice marina, but there's no foot traffic. It's like out of the way. Okay. So we decided, we know we can solve this problem by moving to Vancouver. So we got a much more expensive office on Granville Island. We continued managing renting boats. The problem was we'd more or less 10x our expenses, but we only 2x our revenue. So we're like,
oh God,
this is still a problem. We haven't solved the problem. And then okay, the credit card debt is going up. And we're like, this is not manageable long term. And neither of us from wealthy families. So our parents had lent us $2,500 and that was all we were going to get. And that was already spent. All right. So then I'm like, okay, well, we need to do something different. And I looked around and I thought, I saw what was happening in real estate. And in real estate at that time, you could buy an apartment or a house and you could rent it out, but there were huge tax benefits.
Okay.
So I thought, if we could do that with boats, because we're renting out boats, that could be the breakthrough that we need. Okay, so we spent $20,000 we didn't have, totally maxed out those credit cards, figuring out with lawyers and accountants if it could be done, because everybody said no. And that was the days before ChatGPT when you could research stuff. So after $20,000, we had what I thought was the $1 million idea. And this was a way for people to have the boat that they wanted and have the government pay most of it. Huh? So that seemed like that should work. I was so convinced that would work. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I come from an academic family. I studied economics. My father's an economist. So I created this 80-page document that explained everything. And when people came into our office on Granville Island and asked about, tax shelter benefits of owning a boat, I enthusiastically buried them with data.
Oh, God.
and the poor people were like, I know she's smart and excited about this, but this is way too much information. So they kept leaving. And my husband said, this is not working. And I'm like, why isn't it working? And this is $1 million idea. But I didn't have the $1 million message. And here's what he said to me that it made the penny drop. He's like, well, people don't really want to become tax experts. They just want a boat and they want somebody else to pay for it, preferably the government.
Right.
I mean, he said, most people only use their boats 5 weeks a year anyway. And the penny dropped. I'm like, that's it. That's it. The message is 5 weeks of sun, fun, and tax shelter. And he's like, that's unusual. That's a surprising sun, fun, and tax shelter. It's surprising. It's unusual. It could work. That message resulted in $3 million of boat sales in 1 week.
1 week?
1 week. We got on the cover of a magazine. We got on the radio and people understood it. Instead of giving them this 80-page encyclopedia, we gave them this beautiful brochure with pictures of boats and people having fun and a little tiny little PS about the numbers. So that experience taught me such a profound lesson because I learned that it wasn't about working harder. It wasn't about a better location. It wasn't about burying people in information. It wasn't even about a really kick-ass idea. Mm-hmm. It was about the message. So 7 words, 5 weeks of sun, fun, and tax shelter produced $3 million in 1 week. And we became the largest yacht dealership in Western Canada. And instead of having to discount boats to sell them because we're competing head to head with every other yacht dealer, we could sell boats at full retail. So we doubled our profit margins from 12% to 24%. So that experience changed my life before the experience that you're talking about, which I will also talk about if you'd like. And it just drove home that so many of the things that we think matter don't matter. And that instead, if you just lean into creating a powerful, concise, surprising, shocking message, it can change everything.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, a question about that, though. Did you pay back the $2,500 with interest at least?
I hope so. I don't even remember. The funny thing is we used that $2,500 to buy a rescue power boat because we mostly rented sailboats. And we thought we need to rescue people. If we need to rescue people, that would be helpful. But that boat, there was a huge storm and it sunk.
My God.
It was still in the marina. It was still like moored with the dock lines attached to it. But it was like 3 feet underwater. So that was not so good. And that was earlier. So that was the boat was underwater. Our business was underwater. Anyway, so now what I do is I help people create those breakthrough messages, those $1 million messages that maybe 7 words will turn into $3 million for you.
I'm sorry.
You're seeing that boat.
I am seeing the boat. Oh my God.
Yes,
how long did you and your husband have the boat business?
How long did we have the boat business? 5 or 6 years. We started off chartering the boats, and then as we sold that company, Pacific Quest Charters, and we kept the other company, the yacht sales company, Pacific Quest Yacht Sales. And then we made a bunch of money as 20-somethings. We built our dream home on the lake in Whistler. Life was good. I went back to my dream of being a screenwriter. We thought we have a beautiful 4-year-old son. We've got our dream home on the lake. We were beyond the normal success for 20-somethings.
Right.
And then my husband died.
Oh, God.
So just when you think that life is good, it changes. And just when you think life is bad, it can change the other way too. So my husband died suddenly when he was 33 and I was 31 and our son was 4. So as 33? You can probably imagine. Yeah. He was so young.
Wow.
I felt like Humpty Dumpty. I felt like I'd fallen off the wall and my life had smashed into a million pieces. And I didn't even know if I wanted to pick them up again.
Yeah.
But I had a 4-year-old son looking up at me and I needed to get my life together to help him.
Right.
And so it took me, most people don't know this, but the average time it takes somebody to recover from a devastating loss like that is 5 to 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Most people go through this really extended period. And, 5 to 8 weeks is about the amount of time you get support from your friends, maybe 5 to 8 months from your family.
And some people never recover.
Some people never recover, but the average is 5 to 8 years of suffering. Anyway, after my decade of suffering, I published a book called From Heartbreak to Happiness. And I thought this is the recipe to help other people know if I went from heartbreak to happiness, you can too. It was my diary of healing. Dr. Wayne Dyer endorsed it. And I really, in my naivete, thought, that's enough. It's a book that can help them. But people wanted coaching. They wanted support. And I thought, well, I'm going back to being in the film business. But I didn't really want to turn grieving people away because they could really be quite desperate. Right. So I started coaching just a couple of people. And then one week, 2 young widows who I was coaching said almost the same words to me in the same week. And when I get the same message twice, I pay attention. And the message was, after a coaching session, they said, you helped me more in that 1 hour than my therapist has helped me, in one case for 6 years, in another case for 2 years or 6 months. And I'm so grateful. Can you teach me how to coach people through grief like you just helped me? So I realized, I had thought, I am a quick study, but I make mistakes. I had thought that grieving people just wanted help through their own grief. But when I got that message the same time, in the same week, I realized, grieving people, or some of them, would like the opportunity to turn their tragedy into something meaningful by helping other people.
Yep.
So I shifted from trying to get people through grief, talking to me one-on-one and get them through it as quickly as possible, to building the Grief Coach Academy community where people would join for a year, they would have connection, they would have community, they would heal their own grief, but then they would have a chance to practice the coaching skills that I taught on each other when they became fast friends. And it was so cool because people reconnected with meaning, with purpose, with joy.
Right.
They seemed to age in reverse by like a decade. So I got the pleasure of seeing that. I got the joy of making a bigger difference, but also, once again, I noticed that the message really mattered.
Yeah.
So in that case, at that time, maybe people still think this, but at that time, people were like, if somebody's grieving, they're like, run away. They're a leper. Like, people didn't know how to talk to people who were grieving. They don't. So I wanted to share some simple ways to talk to somebody who's grieving. And they also thought, if somebody's grieving, they're mentally ill, they need to see a therapist. I'm like, really? If you're not grieving after somebody dies that you love, then you're probably have something.
Then you probably
really
need a therapist. Right. Yeah.
Right. But grief, here was my message. Grief is a normal and natural reaction to loss.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get support and coaching through grief, you can heal much faster, maybe 10 times faster. Mm-hmm. Without support, people on average suffer 5 to 8 years. That came from data. And with the coaching that we do, people suffer, well, usually it would be 5 to 8 weeks, but even 5 to 8 months was a lot faster. So that message actually didn't just launch the Grief Coach Academy, it launched a movement of people who were inspired by my message. Grief isn't a normal and natural reaction to loss. Suffering for 5 to 8 years is just too long. Let's friggin' do something about this. And created a community and a business. So there, again, just a few words made a world of difference.
What year did that start? Was that?
Well, let's see. What year did that start? I was about a decade after my husband died. So that was about 2001.
Oh, really?
So it's been a while. I've launched a bunch of different businesses.
Well, here's the thing, because to me, I think you may have been probably one of the very first ones to do something like this.
Yeah, I was the first one. First one.
Because I know when we lost our first daughter, and that was in 2000, there was nothing. I mean,
there was nothing.
The hospital had a little grief support. Actually, it wasn't even a group. I think they did a tree or something. That was all. You had to rely on family and friends.
And those poor family and friends are well-meaning, but they don't have any training.
No.
So
they don't.
Yeah, I was the very first one. Now there's a bunch of companies that train people how to coach people through grief because I popularized it. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's follow Aurora. Okay, then Aurora has to go on and do something else.
Well, and the other thing is, too, because with grief, God, we talk about addiction a lot. And a lot of people have lost people in addiction. And the grieving is, one of my co-hosts, Wendy, lost her daughter to that. And the grief is, we've talked about it a lot. There's really not there. There's more out there now. And I think you may be the second person I've had on that mentioned grief coach, which is important.
It is super
and the
important.
Support groups.
Well, here's the thing. I did go to therapy, and I also went to church support groups. But I really found that the church support groups supported grief, not recovery. And what I acknowledge and appreciate about therapists, I mean, they can give you medication and they can explore the past, and they have got great skills. I'm nothing against them, but coaching is more about building the future. Mm-hmm. And people who are grieving, in my experience, yes, they need to review the past somewhat, but then they also need a plan for the future. And the other thing, I really like Viktor Frankl's book, which you, I'm sure, have read, Man's Search for Meaning. Maybe you can't be happy. Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about that in a sec. Maybe you can't be happy in the aftermath of your daughter's death or your son's death or your spouse's death. but you can choose meaning. And meaning will get you out of bed. Meaning will help you recreate a life that's purposeful.
It does.
Yeah.
Granted, I was pissed. I'll be honest with you.
Oh.
I was mad at God and everything, but then it was a quick turnaround for me. I believe that it happened for a reason. And she was stillborn, but I believe it happened for a reason. The weird thing is my parents were separated at the time, and it brought them back together. It brought the family back together. Oh. And to this day, and this was in 2000. Yeah, 2000. June 23rd, 2000. To this day, I think she is my guardian angel. I think she is sitting over me, and, I pray to her every morning. I have a little angel I was able to put in her hand, but it makes me feel so much better now. I get up in the morning and I do that and I feel good.
That's great.
That's
wonderful.
Yeah. And my wife's like, how can you start the day happy? It's like,
well, here's the thing. I celebrate that. Yes. Every day is a choice between fear and faith, and you're starting with faith. The other thing that is really paradoxically good about grief is that it's so easy in our culture to get all absorbed with the to-do list and paying the mortgage and making more money and buying a bigger house or a bigger car. And before you know it, you've get all trapped up in an ego's meaningless quest, or almost meaningless quest. But when death brushes by with the death of a spouse or a child, or even the death of a career or a hope or a dream, it kicks you and reminds you don't have forever.
No.
We don't have forever. And it reminds you and invites you and challenges you not to be complacent, but to do something meaningful with your one beautiful, precious life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we all grieve. I still do. It seems like death's around you all the time. But I think one of the hardest ones for me was when I lost my brother. And that was even harder for me than my daughter or even my parents, when they passed. But my brother was always my idol. I looked up to him. He was my best friend. That one hit me hard. But again, it took a couple days. It didn't take 5 to 8 years or whatever. It took a couple days. But I realized, I kept saying to myself, and I convinced myself, and I believe it's true, he was no longer in pain. Because I saw his pain that he had all the time. And he was no longer in pain. I still think he's here because sometimes I feel somebody smack me in the back of the head for something I do that's stupid. What was
I agree. Hey, I wanted to see, I thought we were going to talk about turns into wealth, but I'd like to tell a story that may help people who are listening who are dealing with grief.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is written up in my book, From Heartbreak to Happiness, which is my intimate diary of healing. But it's so vivid in my mind. It was actually 2 years to the day after my husband died. And I was still grieving. I went to bed like on the anniversary dates, you think profound or upsetting thoughts. Anyway, my husband came to me that night in a dream, which was the only way that he could. And I was so pissed off. We're sitting, in an airport at those stupid plastic tables they have at the airports. And I pounded my fist on the plastic table in the dream. And I'm like, how could you? How could you abandon me? And how could you leave our son without a father? And they asked me 3 questions, and they changed my life. The first question was, well, if you had it to do all over again, would you still marry me? And I thought about all the good times. I'm like, yeah, I'd still marry you. And then he asked me the second question. He's like, well, if you had it to do all over again, would you still have our son? I'm like, absolutely. He's the light of my life. He's my joy and blessing. And then he asked me the third question, and this is the one that changed my life. He said, given those two answers, would you want to know that I would die young?
Wow.
That hit me. And in the dream, I just was gobsmacked, and I had to take a breath. And then I searched my heart, and I discovered the answer was no.
Yeah.
I would not want to taint the joy that we did have with dread.
Right.
And that changed me. That one dream gave me the gift of being able to accept his death as if I had chosen it. And that made all the difference.
I think I would have answered the same way.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Because if you did know, you would be, like the overprotective wife.
Yeah.
You would wrap him up in a freaking bubble or whatever if you could.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, that shows the power of a story. That was a gift. I think, that was a visitation. I like to think my husband is an angel.
Yes.
Looking out for me. But that shows the power of asking powerful questions. Like he didn't tell me what to think or feel. He just asked 3 questions. And when I've shared this dream with other people, it has shifted them, And so you can ask yourself these questions, or ask anybody you care about similar questions, and make a difference that way. It's the power of words to change our thinking. That dream changed the trajectory of my life, because I stopped grieving and started dealing with the cards I'd been dealt.
Wow. Now, and I'm sure he's come back to you in your dreams. You're not pounding that table anymore, are you?
I'm not pounding that table. No, true.
I have to admit, that's one thing I do love. I love going to bed because the loved ones that we have lost, they're still in our memories, and we see them in our dreams.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times it is so realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's times, I literally can smell either my brother or my father.
Wow.
It's like, now granted, I'm in the house. I bought the house that we all grew up in. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Probably their energy is there.
It could be. It could be. What was the book you mentioned?
The book I mentioned, From Heartbreak to Happiness.
No, not that one.
The other one.
The Man.
Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
I've never heard that.
It's you definitely, I think, would benefit from reading it. I avoided reading it for years, because when I tell you the log line, you're like, I don't know if I want to read that. It's about his time in Auschwitz.
Oh, and wow.
He survived the Holocaust, but he was a therapist, I think, before he went in, or a doctor. I think he invented a new arm of psychotherapy afterwards. Mm-hmm. But he noticed that in Auschwitz, as soon as people gave up hope, they would die within 24 hours. He could see the people who would live versus the people who would die.
Oh, wow.
And he survived partly because he helped everybody else. So he had more meaning. His wife was taken from him because, they separate the sexes. Right. He lost his whole family.
Oh, God.
But he chose to believe that he would be reunited with his wife. And he wrote things that he wanted to put in a book later about his new understanding about human psychology. Mm-hmm. And I think he wrote it on toilet paper, and that was stolen from him.
Oh,
but anyway, he was determined that he would remember what he wrote, and that he would publish a book, and he would help others later, which he did. So Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl is a very profound exploration of the value of meaning. Like, I think in our culture, we can be a bit trite about happiness.
Right.
You want to be happier. Well, what does happiness mean anyway? Like, seeking pleasure can lead to addiction, or it can lead to other short-term behaviors that sabotage you or your family or those you care about. But meaning is a more sturdy word, I think. To do something meaningful is a good goal. Whether or not you feel happy every moment, I think is kind of irrelevant. It's normal and natural to have dips and flows and your emotion and of how you are feeling. But true happiness is rooted in making meaningful progress towards a goal that you have decided is meaningful.
I'm going to have to get this book now. So, seriously, I mean, I love reading books like that.
I think you'll send me an email and thank me.
I absolutely will. And here's the weird thing. For Father's Day, my daughter-in-law, future daughter-in-law, I'm just going to say it, daughter-in-law, got me, and I thought my son got it as a joke, but he got me a book about Jim Jones.
Oh.
You know, the cult leader?
Yeah.
Who had everybody drink the Kool-Aid?
Yeah. What did you learn reading that book?
Oh, number one, that he was smart as hell.
Mm-hmm.
He was very smart. But, I'm still reading it, but I'm just sucked into it. And very manipulative, yes.
Yes.
But when it came to business, he was very smart. He knew how to work people. He knew how to work things. And so books, it's something, again, this is something I've always told my kids. I don't care how evil somebody is, there's a good side to them somewhere. I mean, and I always mention Charles Manson. Because he was a hell of a songwriter.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think he helped, who was it, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys?
Oh, yeah?
With some songs, yeah. So, yeah, very.
Well, the really cool thing about books is you can learn so much without actually having to meet Charles Manson or
because I definitely didn't want to meet him.
You wouldn't want it in your living room. No. Like for $20, you can get a decade or 2 decades of somebody's experience. That's the highest value thing to do with your time. I mean, podcasts are really great, but in books, people have taken the extra time of taking out all the fluff. So the amount that you'll learn per word that you read is incredible.
You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. I've got to tell you about something that's seriously impressive. My good friend Chris recently tried M-Sculpt Neo at Living Well Healthcare in Elkton, and the results, absolutely incredible. I'm talking visible muscle tone and fat reduction, all without stepping foot into a gym. M-Sculpt Neo is a non-invasive body contouring treatment that builds muscle and burns fat at the same time. It uses advanced technology to give you the equivalent of 20,000 crunches or squats in one session. You heard me right, 20,000. Living Well Healthcare in Elkton isn't just another wellness center. It's run by Dr. William Clifford, who's been helping people feel and move better for decades. If you're tired of working out without seeing results, or just want a kickstart to your fitness goals, this is the move. Check them out at livingwellhealthcareelkton.com. Again, that's livingwellhealthcareelkton.com. And tell them Rich and Chris sent you. Well, and that's what you're doing now. You're helping people tell their stories, right?
That's right. At samepagepublishing.com, we help people create books and videos that really make a difference. So, I think first place people can start is by reading Turn Words into Wealth, which they can actually get the ebook for free. If they'd like it for free, they can go to turnwordsintowealth.com and learn about how to turn your words into wealth in 7 different ways to make 7 figures. And then what I do at Same Page Publishing is we actually are devoted to creating best-selling, award-winning books that make a difference and that are worth talking about. Our typical client is, already an expert or a leader in some area, but they're too busy to get their book written, and they realize, it would be much faster and more fun
right.
to have Aurora and her team help me create my book, help me create my videos, and help create those messages that really move the needle. Because the thing is, it's actually, as the story that I told at the very beginning with the yacht sales company, like the idea was great, but until we had the right message, we were stalled. We were struggling. But once the message clicked, like we've got at $3 million in a week. Like it grew to the largest yacht dealership in Western Canada, doubled our profit margins. So most leaders, experts, entrepreneurs, people are up to something. They're up to something, but they're not necessarily wordsmiths.
Right.
And they haven't necessarily nailed their message yet. And the difference between a sort of kind of good message and a nailed message can be millions.
So what made you decide to start doing this?
As usual, I see a problem that I've just solved, and then I want to help other people. So I started helping people with their books in 2015, but in 2020, when COVID hit, I really leaned into using what I call the spoken author method. So I interview people. It's easy and fun and fast for people to talk about their areas of passion, their life story, their areas of expertise, and then turn that into books. But what was weighing on my heart is that I noticed so many, the average first-time author spends 3.5 years writing a book.
Wow.
3.5 years is a very long period of time. And then what would really make me so sad is they would drop the ball right at the finish line. They didn't have the right title. They didn't have the right subtitle. They didn't have the right cover. They didn't, I like to say, if you put yeast in bread, it rises.
Right.
You just need a little yeast. A little bit makes a world of difference. They didn't add yeast to their book. So it was flat. And the yeast that I'm talking about is telling stories that engage people, telling stories that are memorable. And also letting people know, hey, if you'd like more help, here's how I can serve you. And here's how to get a hold of me. So you want to add stories about the clients that you've helped, the lives you've transformed. And you want to let people know what it is that you do. Can they hire you as a speaker? Can they hire you as a consultant? Are you somebody who helps, I don't know, in my case, take conversations and turn them into books? So I felt so sad that people didn't apply for awards. They didn't launch their books. And there's so many books on Amazon, especially now that AI has come out and ChatGPT and other things have come out. But a book without any awards, without any sales, without any reviews is going to hurt your brand, not help it. People make the mistake of thinking the book is the last step. It's not. Exactly. It's the first step. It's the appetizer that leads people to you and your business or you and your podcast or whatever you're up to. And it's the first step in having the number 3 search engine, which is Amazon, showcase what you're up to people around the world so they can come to know you while you're sleeping 24/7. Your book can be working for you around the world to bring your ideal client to you if your book has the right title and the right subtitle. And if you don't drop the ball when you publish it. Makes me so mad. People with, 1 or 2 reviews from their mother and their husband. And they think the book is going to help build their business and their brand. I'm so sorry. Nope. It's doing the opposite. Nope. You are agreeing with me. Have you got a story to tell here?
Well, this is something that, excuse my language, but this has always pissed me off. whenever I get authors on, and I see it a lot with local authors, and if some of you local authors get mad at me, that's fine, but I'm right. They don't market it. They don't market it. And I like the term authorpreneur.
Exactly.
If you write a book, or even if you have somebody write a book for you about you, it's a business.
It's
market it. Get out there. Get on podcasts. Promote it. Talk about it. And the other thing is, and I see authors do this a lot, if they release another book, it's like they forget about the first book.
It's like a baby. The publishing of a book is like the birth of a baby.
Yes.
You don't abandon it when it's been born. You have to feed it and nurture it. And once it grows up, it will more than pay you back.
Yes.
But if you abandon it, it could be stillborn. You cripple it. That just makes me crazy.
I don't understand it. And the other thing is too, and I had somebody else on a while ago that actually helps people write their own book. I do believe everybody's got a story to tell.
I think so too. Yeah.
And if you own your own business, to me, your face is part of the brand, or at least it should be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why not get your story out there? I mean,
exactly right. Well, we agree. Here's what I
y'all need to call Aurora and help her.
Call Aurora. Go to bookcall.biz and book a business breakthrough call for free.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I am getting teed off now.
I love your passion. I love your passion, Rich. Well, here's the thing. Your message needs to be heard.
Yes.
Not enough to have a message. People need to read it or hear it. Mm-hmm. So what I love to do with people is really help them create their brand so that they have weekly messages, at minimum weekly messages going out. I love to do that with YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. YouTube is the number 2 search engine. Amazon's the number 3 search engine, and GEO, which is becoming the new SEO, indexes both Amazon and YouTube and other things. So
GEO?
Generative Engine Optimization, or AI search.
Oh, okay. Is that also like the voice activated ones and all that? Since that's all
AI?
Like
the voice activated one.
Yeah, okay.
You want to be found.
Right.
So here's the thing: most people, they do it completely backwards.
Yeah.
Your book is really just the process of distilling and condensing your wisdom into a format that is useful for other people. Mm-hmm. But it's like a seed. It only germinates when it's watered with attention.
I love that.
So you want to water it with attention, and you don't have to wait for your book to be published. So what I recommend, we actually are using AI to help us create some really amazing videos. Actually, a bit of an aside, like I also have a fantasy series for young adults because, of course, I fell in love with the Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. So I started the Magic, Mystery, and the Multiverse, and there's 3 books in that series. And
don't yell at me, but I love Narnia, but never read the books, but I love the movies.
Okay. Well, then you'd like to go to Anna's S series on YouTube because we're making little short animated like book trailers for the book. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
That's another thing that I think all authors should have is a freaking book trailer.
Yeah, well, I think they should have one every week. So
I love that even more.
Whatever your message is, whatever you're up to, I think you want to have a combination of ongoing content. Mm-hmm. Think your ongoing weekly content or daily, but let's say weekly to not be too aggressive, is more like a newspaper or a magazine.
Okay.
The thing with a newspaper is that once you've read it, it's yesterday's news. It goes in the trash. Same with a magazine. Maybe you keep a magazine a little bit longer. That might be a nice video. But after about a month, it goes in the trash. Mm-hmm. Your book can last for generations. So you want to have legacy IP, which is your wonderful book. But then you want to be talking about the content that's in your book and refreshing it with new things that happen that relate to the themes in your book. On podcasts or on your YouTube channel or on your social media. And here's the really cool thing about video is a recent study by Meta showed that people remember video statistically after 0.25 of a second. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of value in video, but unfortunately you have to keep producing it every week. Fortunately or unfortunately, as the case may be. So I like the combination of let's create a legacy book that could last for decades, maybe generations, that you'll be really proud of, that has the essence of your message. And then let's, even before the book comes out, let's start talking about that on podcasts or create your YouTube channel. Like James Clear, who wrote the book Atomic Habits, he started writing that book, I think, in 2012, and it was published 6 years later in 2018. So when he started writing about it, he had a weekly practice on his blog. He went from 0 subscribers when he started writing the book and started talking about habits in 2012, 0 subscribers. And then he built up to 400,000 subscribers by the time the book was launched.
Holy cow.
Atomic Habits. And Atomic Habits stayed on the New York Times bestseller list for 5 years. But he spent 6 years writing it and 6 years increasing his email list. But he also spent the whole year before the book came out going on podcasts, mailing copies to influencers so that by the time, and then he asked people to release the podcast, the week that the book came out or the month that the book came out. So he created so much demand this is what everybody is well served to do. With my clients, I recommend at least 3 months between when the book is finished and when it's published, so we can apply for awards, get you on podcasts, get the buzz going. Obviously, I'd love to have longer. I'd love to start the person's YouTube channel at the same time that we start interviewing for the book, because you want to think brand. What is the difference between having a brand or not having a brand? The difference is, if you have a powerful brand, people will search you out by name. People will say, oh, I heard Aurora on Rich's podcast. I love Rich. I liked Aurora. I want to talk to Aurora, not I want to talk to some general, ghostwriter, or I want to talk to some messaging strategist, but I want specifically to talk to Aurora Winter. That's the value of a brand. I mean, you've got a great brand, Rich. People know about Conversations with Rich Bennett. You've been doing this for years, right? You've got a great following. You're in the top 3% of podcast people, your voice and your passion and the things that you care about. And they don't want to just listen to any old podcast. No, they want to listen to Rich's podcast. That's a brand.
Yeah. I never understood why people, and I actually got on one of my co-hosts about this. Yes, Wendy, I'm calling you out again, because she started her own nonprofit, and I told her, I said, you need to get out there. You need to put your face out there. Especially with a nonprofit, people want to put a face to it. Yeah. Too many people, and I'm sure you've seen this with businesses, they focus on their logo.
Oh gosh, that's so irrelevant.
but am I right? It's like that's what they're focused on.
You're right. They focus on their logo and their colors on their logo and what's going to be on their T-shirt. But here's the thing: over 90% of consumers want advertising that feels like a story.
Yes.
And people will spend, studies show, like 25% more if they trust that brand. There is loyalty built up, and people will share stories. Almost 70% of consumers say that brand stories influence their purchase decisions. So don't worry about your logo. Worry about your stories.
Well, you see this, like, I want to say, like with Amazon. When you purchase something from Amazon, they always ask you to review it. But one of the things they always encourage are videos.
Yeah.
About it. And I'll be honest with you, if I'm going to buy something, I look at the reviews, but I look at the videos too.
Yeah.
I watch it. I want to know, how easy is this thing to use?
Yeah.
They make a big difference. And I'm glad you did mention the book trailers, because I think that's very, 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 very important. And you mentioned ChatGPT. I just had a young lady on who released her book, and she even told me she used ChatGPT to create the trailer. She did create a movie trailer for it. Okay. And it was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Now I got to yell at her and tell her to do it weekly, especially since she embarrassed me during the podcast.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I have some people that for some reason they like to try to embarrass me. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know if that would be a good thing to do to the host of the podcast that you're on. I would definitely advise against that. Here's the cool thing, just a little data point, and everything's shifting with AI, so this may not be 2026, but 2025, we have the video ads running on Amazon for Magic Mystery and the Multiverse, and we're getting a 7 times higher click-through rate than for text ads. So video is really cool. Actually, the videos on YouTube, Anna's series that are about the fantasy series, have a 12% click-through rate on cold traffic, which is incredible. Yeah, that's really high. So video done right, videos really work.
So the book, what, Magic Mystery and the Multiverse?
The first book is called Magic Mystery and the Multiverse. And
is that the one you wanted to write when you were a little kid?
Yeah.
You were a kid? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But seeing as I have a background in film and TV, we're also doing the video version of it.
I was going to ask, did you write the screen? Would that be a screenplay?
Screenplay. That'd be a screenplay.
Did you write a screenplay for it?
No, I haven't written the screenplay yet, but we are making these videos every week, which is really a lot of fun.
All right. Well, then in that case, I want to ask you a trick question. Well, it's not a trick question. Who's the main character in it?
The main character is Anna Zest. You can see her on the cover, the girl on the cover. And the woman on the cover is the evil queen. And the boy on the cover is her younger brother that she has to rescue. And there's even a little dog. You can see Vito in there.
Okay. Anna Zest. I like that name. Who if you could pick anybody to play Anna Zest, who would it be?
Oh gosh, I really should have an answer to that question. I got to find a young actress who could play her because she's only 16. So
do it yourself. You look 16.
I don't think so, but thank you for the compliment. I'll take it. I'm a Leo.
Aurora, AI can make you look 16.
AI can make me look 16. There you go. Well, the Magic Mystery of the Multiverse is basically, it's kind of like Harry Potter meets Doctor Who.
No. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's fun.
Oh, the funny thing is, I don't read books like that, Harry Potter and all, but I'm a big fan of Doctor Who. I watched Harry Potter, I think the first movie. Yeah. But something like this, I could get into. I love Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who too. It's one of the longest running scripted series.
Yes.
Ever. Oh. So yeah, and it's quite a lot of fun. And I wanted to have yes, I know the hero's journey, and it's Luke Skywalker, it's Harry Potter, but I wanted to have a girl as the lead protagonist. And it's a little bit like the Narnia series. I think that C.S. Lewis's books, they're great adventures. They're totally entertaining. There's nothing in them knocking you over the head to say, you should be a better person. But they do invite you to be a better person. And I hope my books do the same.
Oh, I'm sure they are. And how many books have you written total?
I've written 10 books myself, not counting the ones that I shelved or that I wrote as a ghostwriter. I've written a lot. I have more than the 10,000 hours of writing for sure. I've also written 30 screenplays, one of which was made, Eli's Lesson, starring good old one-arm push-up Jack Palance. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. All right. Look, I'm an old Western geek.
Oh, well, yes. Jack Palance, he's like right up your alley then.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he was a great guy. And that was a great experience. He took me out for blueberry pancakes to acknowledge and celebrate that I wrote the script for the movie.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right. So I love to hear feel-good stories. So can you share a feel-good story, and especially since we're talking about storytelling, of somebody that you've actually helped with telling their story?
Oh, so many to choose from. Okay, well, here's one that's top of mind because I'm going to be speaking to him tomorrow. So one of my clients is a litigation attorney, but he always wanted to be a writer, but he was too busy being a litigation attorney. So he really thought his dream of being a writer was going to be stillborn. But then he read my book, Turn Words into Wealth, and he connected with me on Zoom, and we had a chat, and we're working together. So first, he told me his life story, and he had thought it was going to be like a nonfiction business book to discourage people from becoming lawyers. But instead, we turned it into a inspired by a true story book. And I used my screenwriting background to structure it like a movie. So it was all beautifully structured as a book, but also could be turned into a movie. And that became his first published book. It's called Confessions of an Accidental Lawyer. And he was blown away by the response.
I was going to say, I'm sold on just the title already.
Well, it came to me. He wanted to call it Mirthless Troll. I'm like, I'm sure I can come up with a better title than that. Yeah, Confessions of an Accidental Lawyer. This was what happens. People come to me with one idea, and then by the time we dig into it, it becomes something much better and completely different. Anyway, he was blown away that his book won the American Fiction Award and about a dozen other awards.
Wow.
And it has now got approximately 3,000 reviews on Amazon. And he loved the process of writing with me so much that now we're working on a series of legal thrillers about the fictional hero called Jake Fox. So Jake Fox, look it up on Amazon. And now he has, well, we're going to have 9 books in the Jake Fox series. We've got the trilogy is almost done. And he's got, 3 million pages read, over 100,000 readers. And the books are attracting like thousands and thousands of readers.
Wow.
And he is an award-winning best-selling author. It's no longer a broken dream or a stillborn dream. It's happening right now, right here. So I think he's a great book. His books are great to read if you like John Grisham or James Patterson, the legal thrillers. He's got so many reviews, I think 3,000 or something like that. But what's happened is his identity has shifted because he's no longer somebody who wanted to become a writer who never did it. He is a best-selling, award-winning writer. And here's the really cool thing. He hasn't made millions from his books yet.
Yeah.
Because you really need, a bunch of books to make a bunch of money as a fiction writer. But the curious thing that's happened is he's a very good litigation attorney. But when companies have a problem that needs a litigator, they look at maybe a dozen attorneys and everybody looks the same. They're qualified. They've got a gray suit. They got a blue tie. They all look the same, except my client, Michael Stockham, he doesn't look the same because he's an award-winning best-selling author. He appears on radio. He appears on podcasts. He has a YouTube channel. We've done book trailers of his books. He's got a whole interesting thing going on. So his company has ended up getting over 7 figures of new business because people want to work with the interesting litigation attorney who's also a best-selling author. This was something I didn't know if that was going to happen. I wasn't expecting that.
Right.
But this is the value of having a brand. Like all the other litigation attorneys are kind of commodities. They're sort of interchangeable. But Michael Stockham has a brand because he's the one that's also a best-selling legal thriller author. That makes him interesting, and interesting is more valuable.
And I guarantee you his clients want autographed copies of his books now, too.
Absolutely.
Even the people he beats in court, well, can I at least get an autographed copy of your book from you? That is awesome.
Sure,
I love that.
For sure, yeah.
And see, people don't realize how important getting your story out there is.
Yeah.
In a book form. Just proves the meaning of the power of the pen is definitely mightier than the sword. And
absolutely.
God, people, get your story out there.
Get your story out there.
So before I get to my last question, which I don't know what it's going to be, 2 things.
I don't know what it's going to be either.
I know. That's what makes it even more interesting. 2 things. Number 1, tell everybody how they can find you. And number 2, add anything that you would like to add.
Okay, great. The easiest way to get the most value from me for the least amount of time and 0 money is go to turnwordsintowealth.com. You get a free copy of this book and some videos that'll explain how to turn your words into wealth. You do have to give me your email address, though. But if you don't want to give me your email address, you can get free content every week at my YouTube channel, which is Strategic Basics. Every week, I give a nugget of information. I turn breaking news into business breakthroughs. There's a lot about books, about stories, about messaging, about building your brand. And it's totally free, and you don't even have to give me your email. So go to Strategic Basics on YouTube if that's more your cup of tea. Or if you want to see some fun that can be had with animated videos, go to the Anna Zest series on YouTube. Also free. Also, you don't have to give me your email address. But then if you would like more help and you're already up to something, but you'd like that distilled into a book or into videos, you can go to samepagepublishing.com because I come on the same side, the same page as my clients. And you can get a free business breakthrough call at bookcall.biz, bookcall.biz.
I'll make sure I have all of those links in the show notes too. And those
Thank you, Rich.
Just remember, all you that are listening, if you go to the YouTube channel, yes, you don't need to add your email address, but but please subscribe to her channel.
Exactly.
And when you get the books, if you order the books, make sure you leave a full review, not just 5 stars. A full review on Goodreads, Amazon, Barnes, wherever you can leave reviews.
Thank you. Only one person in 1,000 leaves a review. And it's such a shame because you put so much love into writing a book and then nobody gives you any reviews. Please leave a review.
I have a goal for 2026 because as much as every time I have an author on, I push that at the end or middle, or any time during the episode, I'll push for people to leave a review. I'm very bad at it. So
I always leave a review. If I like the book, I'm right away giving them a review. I never leave anything less than a 4-star review because they don't need to know if I didn't like the book.
Right.
But if it's a good book, I'll leave a 4 or 5 star. If I hated the book, I'll just say nothing.
One of the things I'm going to do next year is actually go through and start leaving reviews for these. Because I get a lot of authors on, and they all send me copies of their books.
Yeah.
So I got to find the ones even that my daughter took and read them. And then once I finish the studio, that's why you see the green screen behind me. I'll have shelves with all of the books of the guests on there.
Oh, that would be really nice.
So
here's the cool thing that most people may not know is you can leave a 5-star review or a 4-star review and not even add any words. It just takes 2 seconds. And that really does help.
Oh, yeah, I know. But I'm the type that I like to write why.
Well, I think
that's just me. I will not leave a bad review though. I won't. Yeah, I never leave a bad review. It's either 4 or 5-star review.
Yeah, skip it if it's like a 2-star.
All right, so this
crushed the author for weeks. Really, you want that karma?
All right, here's the question. Well, no, it's not a question. You got to pick the question. Pick a number between 1 and 100.
9.
Why does everybody always pick a low number? Why number 9?
That's my favorite number ever since my dad taught me the 9 times table. Yeah, my dad taught me the 9 times table, and I'm like, that is so cool. Like 3 times 9 is 27.
Oh, okay.
If you add 2 plus 7, it's 9. You know, it works up till 10. And I'm like, that is so cool.
That was probably a 5th grade thing, and I'm not smarter than a 5th grader. So this is actually a good question.
Okay.
What's the most significant realization you've had about yourself in the past year?
Wow. Well, I think the most significant realization is actually happening as we speak, because I'm realizing that who I am is a quick start, early adopter, easy to pivot. And every time I see a problem and I solve it for myself, then I want to solve it for other people. So, for example, the Anna Zest series of animated videos, we only just did 3. It's only been out for two weeks. The 3rd one is coming out today. But I'm so excited about it. And we figured out how to do something that I think is groundbreaking with technology that was only released in October.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
Last month, Sora 2 was released.
Yeah.
And I have my son works for me as my CTO. He's a video game designer.
Oh, wow.
So I've got the messaging skill, but he's got the skill to quickly use anything tech. And so together we're creating these really killer videos. And I'm like, I want to help people create videos as well as books. So I don't know, that is just something I noticed about myself. And I'm kind of leaning into that instead of going, Aurora, you want to start something else new. Like some people are really good at maintaining a business. That's not me. I'm a person who's very good at spotting a good idea and making it grow. So I love helping my clients create strategic messages and strategic branding and strategic business plans. So I'm just going to lean into that.
And I want to commend you on something because I've talked to several people on here, and especially authors. You mentioned AI or Chat GPT, and it puts a bad taste in their mouth. And I always tell people that, especially since it's been around forever, embrace it, learn how to use it, and you're doing that. And I have to commend you for that because you're not afraid of it.
What's the point of being afraid?
The
point is lean into whatever's new, lean into it and be wise in how you use it. Use it for what it's really good at. Like Sam Altman said, ChatGPT is like a newly graduated intern who has a PhD, but zero world experience.
Yep.
Right? So you want to delegate things that an intern with a PhD could do to that person or that entity or that ChatGPT. But don't delegate your story, your voice, your sense of humor, your wisdom, your life experience, your client relationships. Like, don't delegate that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's super fast at checking for typos. So, yeah, delegate that.
Well, and the thing is, too, you're seeing it. Well, Google's got its own, Bing's got its own, and you're even seeing new search engines coming out, which is strictly, it's all AI. And technically, isn't that what search engines were before?
Exactly. We were all using AI. We just didn't label it that way.
Yeah. I just wish AI would help me grow hair. Aurora, I want to thank you so much. It's been an honor and a true pleasure. And the door is open. Anytime you want to come back on, the door is open because I know I could talk to you for hours.
I loved connecting with you, Rich. You were absolutely awesome.
Thank you. It's been a blast, and now I got to go watch some videos of Anna Zest. Anna Zest. I was getting ready to say Anastasia. Anna Zest. How did you come up with that name?
They're short. They're like only 2 minutes. 3 minutes each, so they're super short. Well, I wanted a name that people could connect with, and then I wanted, she's spunky, she's feisty, so Zest kind of goes with that.
So she's like the carbon copy of you? Aurora, thanks so much.
Oh, thanks, Rich. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going. It takes a lot to put a podcast together, and my sponsors help out a lot, but I also have some supporters that actually help me when it comes to the editing software, the hosting, and so forth. There's a lot that goes into putting this together. So I want to thank them, and if you can, please visit their websites, visit their businesses, support them however you can. So please visit the following. Full Circle Boards. Nobody does charcuterie like Full Circle Boards. Visit them at fullcircleboards.com. Sincerely Sawyer Photography. Live in the moment. They'll capture it. Visit them at sincerelysawyer.com. The Joppatown Lions Club, serving the community since 1965. Visit them at joppatownlionsclub.org. And don't forget the E at the end of Joppatown because they're extraordinary.